Hi guys, welcome back to today's video. Today's video is from Top Lists. It's titled 10 things the UK does better than the US. Okay, this is supposed to be very expository, probably a few things we know and a few things we do not know. So before we dive into the video, my name is Oge. Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time here, hi, do also like, share, subscribe, turn on notification bell. A lot of you guys watch my videos without subscribing. Please kindly click on the red subscribe button. It's very free. Just tap on it and turn on post notification bell. Okay, thank you so much. Let's just quickly dive into the video.
It's impossible to say which country is the best in the world. However, a case can be made for some countries just being better than others, at least in specific fields. These are 10 things the United Kingdom just does better than the United States.
Cost-effective heads of states.
Many Americans often mock British people for still having a queen. They often say, "Get with the times, you're not free if you have a monarch. Your tax money is just being wasted." Well, the truth is that US taxpayers have to pay more for their leaders. In 2014, the British royal family cost UK taxpayers just £35.7 million, while President Obama and his family cost US taxpayers $1.4 billion in expenses that same year. So when it comes to cost-effective leadership, the Queen of England, ironically, is less expensive than the President of the United States.
Traffic control.
The studies are in, and the verdict is clear. Roundabouts are not only more efficient than US-style traffic intersections, they're also safer. Mythbusters even tested this theory, and they clearly demonstrated that roundabouts allow for 20% more cars to pass through in any period of time than what is possible in an intersection. Another advantage is that in a roundabout, drivers don't have to bring their vehicles to a complete stop. This has been shown to be safer for both drivers and pedestrians. So all in all, in this area, the UK has the US beat when it comes to traffic control.
Intelligence.
The average intelligence of each country in the world is something that has been rigorously studied over the past few decades. Well, the results are in, and quite embarrassingly, people in the UK are smarter than people in the United States. The average IQ of the United Kingdom stands at 100, while the United States falls short with an average IQ score of 98. This may not seem like a lot, but those two crucial points are enough to make the United States fall below the mean European IQ, which is 100. Many people argue about the cause of this, whether it be better schooling or higher standards of living, but the facts don't lie. When it comes to IQ, the UK is superior to the US. Now that you know the differences in average IQ between the US and the United Kingdom, it probably doesn't come as a surprise when you learn that the UK actually contributes more to science than the United States, at least on a per capita basis, which is the metric that divides the number of scientific papers published by a country's scientists and divides that number by the country's population. This results in a number that gives you a good idea of how scientifically productive a country is on average. Well, in this category, the United Kingdom has the United States outclassed. The UK publishes 1.424 scientific papers for every 1,000 citizens, while the United States only produces 0.988 scientific papers per every 1,000 citizens. This gap in contributions in the world scientific community is a point of pride for people living in the United Kingdom, and this is certainly an area where the United States should try to catch up. The United Kingdom possesses the most productive offshore wind farm in the entire world. This world-class installation is the Greater Gabbard Wind Farm, which produces over 1.75 terawatt-hours of clean and renewable energy every year. The United States, and indeed the rest of the world, has nothing that can compete with this installation. In fact, the United States doesn't even have a position in the top 25 most productive offshore wind farms, while the United Kingdom holds the top first, second, and third spots, with Denmark being its closest competitor. The UK's superiority doesn't just end there, however. The United Kingdom is the largest exporter of offshore-generated wind power, which means that not only is the UK producing the most offshore wind energy, it's also creating enough to supply other countries.
So I don't know, but I think that the best people to come out to actually say these things, I'm not trying to oppose this video. I mean, we are watching it together for the first time, but I'm just trying to say that the best people to come out to talk about these things, or to come and to actually compare, are people that have lived in both countries. Like, you have actually lived well enough to know about their taxes, to know about their wind power, to know about their intelligence, to know about all these things he has mentioned. Because yeah, if you say the UK more than the US, you say, okay, yeah, the UK is actually better compared to what I've heard. If you're a British person and you have lived in the US for a very long time to understand and know what's up, do you understand? So I think people that, because I know I've reacted to a few videos where people say, oh, don't believe these things you hear on social media, on the internet. Sometimes they are not always true. They're usually based off of one person's statistics, one person's experience. It's not a general view. So I don't know if you stay in the UK or you've stayed in both countries for a very long time. I would love you guys to let know what you think about these things he has mentioned about the UK being better than the US. Of course, like he mentioned in the inception of the video, he said that the fact that he's mentioning this, it doesn't mean that the US are not excelling in some things and the UK are not. Do you understand? So it's not like a competition, but it's just some things that the UK are doing better than the US. So I would love to see in the comment section what do you guys think about these things he's mentioned, especially if you've lived in both countries, what you heard, your experiences, what it's been like. Just let's know, especially the tax, intelligence, writing books, wind power. I mean, yeah. But let's continue. Let's watch to the end of the video.
Just as with wind power and scientific papers, the United Kingdom is better when it comes to producing authors and great works of literature. The UK tops the charts of publications per capita, with only China and the United States beating out the country in absolute terms, despite the UK's much smaller populations. Overall, the UK produces 2,875 titles each year for every 1 million inhabitants of the country, while the United States only produces 956 titles for every 1 million inhabitants. This is an even more impressive feat when you learn that the UK has only 1/5 the population of the United States. So when it comes to books, the US is still quite a few chapters behind the UK.
Successful film franchises.
While it is true that Hollywood is the film capital of the world, and as a result, produces more films per year, this doesn't compare to one of the UK's greatest film achievements. The most successful film franchise of all time is a British film franchise, the James Bond series.
I know about it.
The James Bond series was the first to gross over $1 billion in sales, and is still the highest grossing film franchise. It seems that people still prefer the cool, suave charisma of Agent 007 to the loud action and violence of most American films.
Internet speed.
If you're a fan of watching YouTube videos, this is probably the most important category where the UK is better than the US. Despite having invented the internet, the UK has the US outclassed when it comes to average internet speeds. As of 2015, the average connection speed in the UK was 13 megabits per second, while the US only had an average of 12.6 megabits per second.
That's actually close.
So the next time you're in an argument with a British person on the internet, remember that they probably have you outclassed in internet connection speed.
Recovery of new elements.
Of the 118 known elements on the periodic table, 24 were discovered by British scientists. This is more than any other country, and further reinforces the case of British superiority in the sciences over the United States. This number includes crucial elements such as hydrogen, sodium, xenon, and platinum. The US, however, wasn't totally outclassed by the UK, as the country did discover 21 elements on the periodic table, and as a result, earns a very respectable second place.
Having their flag on other countries.
This is probably the greatest sign of the UK's importance and massive impact on the shape and history of the globe. As a legacy of the once great British Empire, countless flags around the globe still bear the Union Jack. From Australia to New Zealand, and even Fiji, over 20 major flags around the world contain the Union Jack in one form or another. Perhaps the most interesting and most humorous is that the number includes the U.S. state of Hawaii, which prominently and proudly displays the Union Jack. The very first flag of the young United States, the Grand Union flag, even contained the Union Jack as well. While countries such as Liberia and Malaysia have similar flags to the U.S. flag, these are poor facsimiles at best, and are vastly outnumbered by countries, states, and territories that still fly the Union Jack with pride. For more top lists, just like
Okay, if you're American, you have to come out to come and defend your country. Anyway, that was just a joke. I think two things I've heard before. I think the other things I've probably maybe heard one or two times, but the one that keeps on coming up consistently in videos, in in things people say, the first one is the faster internet, that the internet is faster in the UK compared to the US. But when they mentioned, I think one has 13 point something megabytes, and is it megabytes or what's the rating now, and the other one is 12.6. It's like very close. So well, maybe that those few seconds actually make up for a lot, I don't know. But I mean, people say countless times that the internet in the UK is faster, has a faster speed than the one in the US. Another thing I think I've heard countless times is the fact that the UK have their flags on in a lot of other countries' flag, which makes them better than other people. Okay. Anyway, what do you guys think about this video? Is this like a personal point of view, or is this like, okay, he's actually true, these things are actually true, but like we mentioned earlier, it doesn't mean that the US are not excelling in some things that the UK are not. So it's just like a few things that, in fact, if I see a video where they talk about a few things the US are doing better than the UK, I think I'll react to it, because so that it's not like, okay, the UK are better than the US 10 times, and yeah, and then everybody's come to my comment section to say, oh, that's not true. Anyway, but I'd love to know what you guys think about this list. Do you think that, oh, this is outdated, the US is doing better when it comes to this is what they are doing better now? Do you get? So let's know in the comment section what you think about this video. If you're British, if you're an American, if you've lived in both countries and can actually say one or two things, please let us know in the comment section so we can grow and learn together. Do not forget to subscribe. Please subscribe, like, share, drop a comment, turn on post notification bell. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.